Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show for a look back over the weekend's action north and south of the border. I'm Peter Martin.
I'm Alan Rough.
And it's been a hectic week, especially in Scotland. The League Cup semi-finals have taken place over 2 days. The first one at Hampden, Hibs against Celtic. In the end, the League Cup holders, Celtic, Roughie, are in the final and a chance to defend the trophy.
Yeah, I don't think in the first half either the two teams were any better than each other. I think Celtic had a lot of possession of the ball, not many chances at goal or even shots at goal. So I think everything was all about, you know, how long Hibs could hold out for. And unfortunately for Hibs, as it's turned out on numerous occasions this year, that they've let bad goals in. And the 2 goals that Celtic got, from Hibs' point of view, were bad goals to lose in a semi-final.
Yeah, they got a lifeline with a penalty. And incidentally, Brendan Rodgers has admitted that the assistant, Frank Connor, came in to speak to him and say, look, I got the penalty decision wrong. Yeah,
I think in all fairness to the linesman, it's a good thing to do. I think managers really appreciate that. I just wondered if he'd have went in if it had been the winning goal. But there you go.
Well, fair play to him for at least admitting his mistake. We can't start looking at hypothetical situations. In the end, Celtic won it by 4 goals to 2. Moussa Dembele has given Brendan Rodgers a headache because suddenly he's got a huge match against Aberdeen at Pittodrie on Wednesday night. Who does he go with, Griffiths or Dembele?
It's a tough one. It's not really a tough one for Brendan Rodgers to have 2 players like that you can call on. I do think Lee Griffiths is looking a wee bit tired. To play that lone striker for the last 2 or 3 months must be tiring. The goals have dried up a wee bit. The effort is still there, but sometimes with strikers, that's what happens. And obviously we saw Dembele coming on and getting a couple. So I think Dembele might be the shout, and a word in Lee Griffiths' ear is just take a rest. You know, you've done fantastic over the last couple of months and you'll be back again.
Yep, okay, so Celtic are into the final, and of course Hibs, disappointed at losing out and a chance to take their place in the League Cup final. They've got the small matter of an Edinburgh derby to take their mind off it on Tuesday night. Amazingly, Neil Lennon's side, it's a run of 7 games without losing an Edinburgh derby, which is quite amazing. I can remember a time when Hearts had the Indian sign over them.
Yeah, they certainly did, Peter, and it wasn't that long ago, so at least they've turned it a wee bit, but I think this is a massive game. I think Neil Lennon would be more than happy if he did more points at home against Easter Road. He's still not really convinced everybody that this is a Hibs team. It's going to be third in the league, unfortunately, because they're dropping points at home. But this game tomorrow night is a time to rectify that, and if he was to get a win, that would put them back on track.
Okay, give me your predictions then on those games that we're talking about. Aberdeen against Hibs at Pittodrie.
Aberdeen with Celtic.
Aberdeen against Celtic, I beg your
up
pardon.
At Celtic. Again, I think Aberdeen will be fresh. I think if Celtic were to go up there and think they can get a draw out of that one, it would be a good result. But I've got a funny feeling Celtic will just sneak that one by the odd goal.
Okay, Hibs against Hearts. I've got it right this time, Roughie.
Yeah, but I think this will be a narrow 3-0 win for Hibs.
What? 3-0? You're off your head.
No, I think this will be tight.
I think, what, 2-0?
I think Craig Levein has got his team playing the way that he likes, you know. Very hard to beat, don't lose many goals. So, you know, I think this could be right up until the last 10 minutes when Hibs will get 2 late goals.
Yeah, to win 2-0. Okay, so it wasn't as close as he suggested. And just in case you're used to somebody giving a prediction early on, what Roughie does is builds the other team up and then slaps them down by suggesting they're going to be battered. Sean Maguire has just joined us on the chat and he thinks it'll be 1-0 to Hibernian. You can comment on that. You can join us at PLZ Soccer on Twitter as well as facebook.com/PLZ Soccer. So that's Hibs against Hearts and Aberdeen against Celtic coming up. Here's a look at the fixtures, incidentally, from this midweek. I'm looking forward to going to the Hibs-Hearts game. I love Edinburgh derbies. Spend a lot of time there. Never get tired of them. No point in asking you about them, Roughie, because you never won an Edinburgh derby while you were the Hibs goalkeeper. It's Hamilton Partick, Hibs-Hearts, St Johnstone Ross County, Aberdeen Celtic, Dundee Motherwell and Rangers against Kilmarnock. And that brings us nicely to talking about the other semi-final, because that's where most of the news comes from, Roughie. Motherwell, Stephen Robinson mentioned prior to the game, you know, by all accounts, they're just there to make up the numbers. Well, the only numbers they did make up was Motherwell 2, Rangers 0. Louis Moult, the hero at Hampden, and it's Motherwell in the final and not Rangers.
Yeah, and I think over the 90 minutes, I think deservingly so. I thought Rangers were okay in the first half. I think they were the team that had the chances. It remains to be seen if they'd taken any of these chances, how that game might have turned out, but it never. And Motherwell capitalised on the second half. And obviously you said Louis Moult, but I think that Motherwell deserve a lot of credit. Right from the very start, they were honest enough to say they were going to make this a physical game, not because the players don't have any ability. They just thought that making it a physical game where Rangers, some of the players they had, wouldn't be able to handle that kind of game. And they were right. You know, right from the very start, certain players were targeted, big players, Morales, Pena, a few tackles went in, and after that they didn't fancy it. And in all fairness to them, you know, that's the way they geared round it, and at the end of the day they got the win. Didn't like some of the elbow stuff, obviously you don't like to see that in a game, people getting hurt, but that's part and parcel of the game.
Yeah, I mean, were they too physical? I mean, you can see by that Cardozo's nose, he's not going to be going to a nightclub anytime soon, because he didn't look the best after that challenge. I mean, I thought, you know, Motherwell were lucky that Ryan Bowman wasn't sent off for that challenge.
Yeah, I think Ryan Bowman might get another card retrospectively. I think it will be certainly looked at. It's not a thing we like to see, you know, that forwards using their elbow, because there's only one thing that's going to happen, and is that somebody's going to get so severely hurt. I mean, he was fortunate enough, it was just a broken nose, but it's something we should sort of stamp down on. And I don't know, we don't know the rules yet. You know, if he was to get another card, it would be a shame if it took him out of the cup final. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see players missing finals just because of that card in the semi-final.
Should Pedro Caixinha be shown the door?
Not for me. I think he's on the old 3-strike rule as far as I'm concerned. Obviously 3 strikes and you're out. I think he's in the second one now, obviously the Europa disaster. I don't throw the Celtic game into that, because I still think Celtic are so far ahead of Rangers. So that wasn't a strike for me. Yesterday certainly was. So as far as I'm concerned, he's on 2. And the only thing that will save him is if he holds on to the shirt tails of Aberdeen.
Yeah.
He's got to finish second, and he's got to get Rangers into Europe. If he started to slide away from that piece of bit that I've been talking about there, then he will get that 3rd strike and he will be out the door. Yeah,
okay. Just regarding that piece of bit that you were talking about there, Kilmarnock, I mean, it's against Kilmarnock. You're talking your 3-strike rule. I thought he would be out by the end of October, so I think if he lost to Kilmarnock, they would pull the plug. My only concern here with it all is I don't think maybe Rangers have enough money at the moment to actually sack him, because it's not just sacking him, it's 5 or 6 players that he's signed that are totally inept.
Yeah, and you can tell the players that are always talking them up are the players that he signed, and that's a difficult one. You know, you would think if he was to leave, I would think a few of them would want to leave with him, and then obviously, if you said that brings money into consideration, and you're right, I don't think at this stage Rangers have got that. Yeah,
Sid McMillan just sent us in a little message there saying he reckons Alves should have been sent off as well. I can't argue with him.
No, I think he should have been sent off as well. Fortunately for Louis Moult, he was booked in that incident, so he can't be given anything else. So again, I think Alves will be looked at as well, and he'll get something.
Okay, so it's Motherwell, and congratulations to them, because I think more of Rangers' predicament has been highlighted rather than what Motherwell achieved. This is a team who've had a great start to the season. Stephen Robinson's had an extension to the contract. They know they're not going to keep Louis Moult. But one interesting point from that is the £350,000 that they knocked back for Louis Moult at the start of the summer there, Roughie. Motherwell have now made 3 times that amount by reaching the League Cup final and the way they've been playing and winning matches in the Premiership.
Yeah, again, Motherwell, another club financially looked after very well with everybody. You know, they really look at the budget, which they have to do, because obviously there's not a lot of money going about. But no, you're right. You know, they deserve everything they've got. Very workmanlike side, looks like a happy environment to be in, and that's why they're getting the results they're getting.
Okay, now let's move on to those 3 games from the weekend. Partick Thistle against Dundee. Oh, I think Partick Thistle mugged Dundee. Neil McCann was raging, but Alan Archibald, it's the one time when you actually think, go and enjoy a glass of wine, because he was under pressure at Thistle, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. I mean, obviously with other teams sacking their managers and getting results instantly, obviously you would think some boards do that. I know personally a lot of the board at Partick Thistle, this was not going to happen at this precise moment in time. They're very sensible in everything they do. But in saying that, he needed a win. You know, he needed a win for the players. He needed a win for the supporters. And you're right, you know, Thomas Cherney makes a save at 1-0 from the penalty, and it turns a game.
Yeah,
and,
should he have been sent off?
No, I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with you. I thought he should have gone.
No, for me, a goal scoring opportunity is when you go round the goalkeeper and you're just putting it in the back of the net. He was going away from the goal, and there was two Partick Thistle players coming in to cover. So I thought that was the rules, unless the rules are different from what I'm led to believe.
Yeah, no, that's the rules. If you're wearing a Partick Thistle scarf and you've played for them in a League Cup final in 1971, for normal thinking people, if you're round the goalkeeper, you don't accept that you're going to be taken out at waist high. But then again, we'll agree to disagree on that. It won't affect our friendship, to be honest with you, because we disagree on a number of issues. Ross County left it late. Thomas Mickelson scores the goal, 2-1 against the Hamilton Accies side, Roughie, that I think are on the slide. I've picked Hamilton to get relegated. I picked Ross County actually to be in the playoffs, but you know, I think we're going to have to wait for a few more games. But Hamilton are in trouble at the moment.
Yeah, I'm actually beginning to feel sorry for Hamilton.
What?
Know, yeah, I think.
What do you mean feel sorry for? You predicted they should get relegated in the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, but I feel they were up 1-0. You know, they were doing okay. Yeah. You know, and they all worked well for each other. But again, to lose a goal so late on, you know, and a point would have helped them, but it wasn't to be. So they've got a lot of injuries just now as well. Obviously, Ali Crawford being out, big miss for them. But yeah, I have to say, I still think they'll be down there.
Okay then. What about that other match? Hearts, Kyle Lafferty got the goal, albeit with a deflection. I'm delighted for him. He's had a tough couple of weeks.
Yeah, he certainly has, and I'm sure him himself will be happy that he's come out into the open with his gambling problem. I think it's good to face it, you know, and then everybody can help you, and I think the club have got right behind him. You can see that he's obviously mind is a wee bit more at rest, and he got a wee break at the weekend and got the goal. Yeah,
they got the goal. Hearts were hoping to be back to play Kilmarnock on the 5th of November at Tynecastle. Anne Budge has come out and said they're going to delay that now, and it looks as if it could be the 19th of November before they get back to what I think is going to be a fantastic stadium, Roughie.
Yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. It was a good stadium to play in before, but I think Hearts will get the benefit of that, and I'm sure clubs that are going along there as well will love to play in a good stadium. So yeah, the good thing about it is they're in a healthy bit of the league just now, and they've got all these home games to come up, so I think they'll be good for the end of the season.
Yep, okay. Let's have a look at some of the other news concerning the Championship. Of course, at the weekend, Dundee United losing at home to Inverness Cally Thistle. That prompted the Dundee United board to sack Ray McKinnon. He's gone. They're now looking for a new manager, and it's early favourites, John Hughes, Jim McIntyre. You know, listen, we could finish this broadcast and within an hour somebody else could come up and turn out to be the Dundee United boss.
Yeah, again, I feel a wee bit sorry for Ray McKinnon. Okay.
How many people can you feel sorry for, Roughie? Is there anybody you don't feel sorry for?
He's only 5 points behind and only played 10 games or 9 games of the season, and it just shows you the expectations of Dundee United. They obviously think they should be running away with this league, and unfortunately they're not. So he has paid the price. You're right, Yogi Hughes is there, Jim McIntyre, Billy Dodds, 2 ex-Dundee United players. You know, so I think we know the way this is going. Okay then, don't get your money on it, by the way. We don't know which way it's going yet. You never know with the Dundee United board. As far as Roughie feeling sorry for people, do you feel sorry for Ronald Koeman? No, I don't think so.
What?
I think,
what, because he's not in Scotland and he can't affect your opinion?
No, because he's got £150 million to spend and he hasn't spent it wisely. And for a team like Everton to be sitting third bottom of the English Premiership, it is definitely not acceptable.
Yep, Arsenal getting the 5-2 win. One highlight, I thought Rooney's goal was fantastic. It
was fantastic. You know, you would think when you score a goal like that so early on, you think you're on the up. But unfortunately, the Everton defence didn't believe that either. Yeah, I watched Everton. I've watched them for the last 2 or 3 games. And it's the classic Tommy Docherty line. Had they been playing out in my back garden, I might have drawn the curtains because they've been woeful. I mean, I just don't see any progression in them under Koeman. Yeah, but I think at the beginning of the season, obviously, when he was given all that money to spend, he would have thought he'd have spent it wisely. And the reason he gave him the money was so that it would be in the top 6 of the league, and that obviously hasn't happened, and that's why he's lost his job.
Okay, another man who could be under pressure, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, 4-1 against Tottenham. It was, in the end, Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Eriksen, all of these players really have come to the fore, and you know, Klopp could do nothing about it. Again, you know, Liverpool just can't defend.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's saving them is obviously the European result, which was very, very impressive in the midweek. But I think when it comes January, when the window opens, Coutinho is going to rise its head again. You know, teams are going to come in for him. And if he's not pushing for that top 4 place, I think he could find himself out of a job as well.
Yeah, if you to read most of the English media, you think Harry Kane was actually the world's greatest player of all time. The hype surrounding him in the last couple of weeks has been incredible. Here's a boy who's level-headed. Tottenham fans hope he stays with them. I certainly think, you know, another year at Tottenham and then it'll be so difficult for anyone to keep a hold of him because he just looks the complete player. I think he's got a couple of years, 2 or 3, before he starts getting into the top 5 and the Ballon d'Or for me. What about yourself?
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's maybe a couple of years away for that. But the more European games he gets against these big sides and the more obviously damage that he does, obviously stock will go up. But I think at the end of the year, if the silly money comes in, then he could find himself abroad.
Okay, just one little thing to finish with. Always like to keep an eye on Zlatan. His agent says he reckons he can play on for another 5 or 6 years. Of course, that's 2 deals and a huge payoff as well at the end of it. He's got to keep Zlatan going. You wouldn't bet against him. I think he's a wonderful example to people to, you know, to take care of themselves, the professionals. You know, he'll be back playing for Manchester United at Christmas, and that could be crucial for them.
Yeah, I think it will. I think obviously Man United need everybody they can get, but certainly, you know, if he can stay clear of injury, you know, he's going to play a big part. And it's always good to play another extra 5 years in a game when you don't actually run about and chase people.
Okay. Zlatan, if you want to call me, I'll give you Roughie's number and you can argue that point with him. Okay, as you can see, both of us take care of ourselves physically. Both athletes here talking about players and teams and their performances. You can give us your view on it at PLZ Soccer on Twitter, facebook.com/PLZ Soccer. Monday, we always have a look back at the weekend's football. Hopefully you can join us live on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course you can get the catch up on PLZ Soccer YouTube as well. From Roughie and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.